Welcome to my channel, Shadowing Rebirth Coaching. I am Kathleen. For those who don't know, I am a shadow work, grief, and end of life coach. I help people navigate through some of their darkest times or passages in life, transitions, with presence, compassion, awareness for the purpose of integration and wholeness. Um, Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about grief. Uh, I often, when I mention to people that I am a grief coach, I think a lot of the times people associate that with um, grief related to the loss of a loved one. And even though that's true, uh, there's we experience loss and grief a lot more than we realize, and it's usually not necessarily death related. So this video is more about the non-death related grief and loss. For example, are some of the times that we do experience grief and loss that are common in our day to day, not day to day necessarily, but a lot more common than the grief and loss that we experience when we lose somebody we love or a pet. So, breakups, right? Breakups is a big one. Um, with breakups, we lose not only the person, we are also losing the process of like who we are with that person. We are losing some routines that we might have built because of our union with the person or persons. Um, we are losing like stories, the stories that we created about what life would be like with that person. There's layers and layers of losses. We our bodies feel the loss. The if there was intimacy, what the level of intimacy. So there is a withdrawal that occurs through that as well. So, I mean, with breakups, you can go. The level of losses it's many. But we also experience, let's say, the loss of a job, right? When we lose a job, especially if you have attached a lot of your identity with work or what you do, that's a big loss. That's a loss also in your identity, maybe. Or a big part of your identity. There is a loss of your coworkers. There is a loss of whatever attached beliefs you have around work and yourself or your worth and your value. Um, so there's many layers of losses there, and that loss can cause a lot of disruption, right? Um, with ending a project, perhaps. And let's say that it was something that you poured your soul into. You poured a lot of energy, maybe money, and even if the result was very positive and you achieved what you wanted to achieve, and it's been a great ride and everything, there is that component of the loss as well. There is a component of not doing that anymore. I had to stop for a second just because it started raining in San Diego. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but of course, here I am, and it started raining. But so even with the end of a project, like I was saying, if the result was what you wanted and it was successful and everything, there is this we experience what we call like bittersweet, right? And this can be actually with any transitions because transitions carries any transition will carry a component of loss. You're losing something, you're losing some things. With even if you're gaining and even if it's positive, and there's also the component of a loss as well. So it's like where we get the bittersweet. The bitter part is partially, I believe, the loss. So those are all situations. Moving. Even if you're going to a new place, there's all the memories attached to the older place, or maybe you're getting distancing from family. You're not going to have the same level of contact, perhaps, or especially in person. I've experienced a lot of moving in my life. Some of it from a country, from a life, from everything, and there's so much. It was such a. It wasn't it turned my life upside down. Even if in the long term, especially, it was a positive move. Um, so it can be all these losses that we experience throughout our lives. Um, Sometimes we are so caught up on some of them are not necessarily, because some of them are pretty, they come with power, with a lot of strength, and with everything they just come at you. For example, breakups, it's kind of hard for us to really ignore that. But some of the losses that we experience sometimes, especially when it carries something positive, or many aspects that are positive, that are visibly and obviously positive, we might ignore, or we might brush it away, or we might avoid thinking about it. Sometimes maybe it's not necessarily that it comes with a lot of positives, or obvious positive aspects of it, but sometimes it's because it's not so intense, and there's so much going on in life. We're so busy with everything, with work. We're busy with, if it's not related to work, or we're busy with family, or busy with everything that is going on, because nowadays, good grief, we don't have time to take a breath sometimes. And we can get caught up in all this stuff going on in life that we don't really realize, or allow ourselves to we either don't have the moment, we don't realize what's happening underneath all of this. We don't, we might not want to, might not want to feel it. So there's all these opportunities for us to be able to meet our grief, um, to be able to see it, to be able to feel it, to be able to hear what it's trying to say, hear what it's trying to ask, to give it a voice, to let it go through, to pass through. And I often find that it will bring a lot of insight. It brings a lot of insight. It brings a lot of closure, even. It brings a greater understanding of ourselves, a greater understanding of our role in the world, maybe a role in the world of other people's lives. It brings such insight and growth opportunities when we approach it in a way that we are not brushing it away or rushing, because that can happen too. I know I'm guilty of it. I, I've been doing a lot of work around shadow work and on myself for a few years, and I'm familiar with grief, and I do a lot of that work, grief work, on myself as well. And I've been doing for a lot of work, so I kind of know how I work, and what to do, and how to navigate, and be with it and sit with it. And I still catch sometimes myself trying to rush through it. I'm like, okay, where are the insights? Okay, what do I need to learn here? Okay, what I need to think. I need to, what do I need to apply in order to absorb the most out of it? Which is in and of itself, I'm not being present anymore. I am just trying to get to the good stuff and missing the point of the present. Raining again. So I decided to just, heed the call and move a little bit further. Under shelter right now. You might hear the rain. Hopefully it's not annoying. I kind of like it. Um, but yeah, it started pouring a lot right now. But anyways, like I was saying, so even if you are aware, even when you are aware of trying to be present with the grief, and you understand all this, you understand feeling in your body, you understand being with it and everything, and trying to get the insights. Sometimes rushing through it is trying to avoid it. It's a way of avoidance. It's a way of like, I don't want to sit with the pain, and I know all the good stuff that might come with it. So can I go there already? So that's kind of an avoidance. I catch myself. I realize, oh, I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to run away from it. And I remember specifically, I was processing a grief of a non-death related grief, that was relatively recent. It was a few months, and it was a partnership that it never took flight, and I connected very deeply with this person, but unfortunately, it's just not the right time. And I remember I was kind of like ready. I thought that I was doing all the work of sitting with it and listening and giving it a voice, and being with it. And that there was a part of me that was really kind of trying to rush, okay, I need to do something. I need to start changing something in my life. I need to start, what am I learning here so that I can start applying in my day to day? Or how can I integrate this? And one day I remember I was sitting in front of I have an altar that I like to make my prayers and meditation and everything in front of. And I was trying to reflect on it and sit with my grief. And then I felt this intuition of like you need to sit with it. No explanations, no trying to find anything, no trying to find a reason, not trying to rationalize, not trying to justify, not trying to label as anything. Just sit with it. You have to sit with it. And that's so I stopped. I kind of like, okay, I realized what I was doing, so I started to actually let it do its thing, let it speak, because I noticed that I was rushing the process. And that's the thing, grief, any kind of grief, if it's a process, is not a clear cut process, it's not a structured process, and it's not a process that has a timestamp or like guaranteed it's gonna be this long. Um, Honestly, I feel like a lot of the times, some griefs that we thought and we may have actually processed quite a bit and integrated and everything, there might be remnants of it that it only resurfaces a little bit later, sometimes years later. So, with the non-related death, loss, and grief, these are all moments that we have the opportunity to learn, to grow, to absorb that we might be ignoring because of all the distractions or because of all the avoidance, but not even realizing that these are also important moments that we can get a lot out of, even though they might not necessarily be related to a death, or a loss of somebody we love. So I hope this video helps with you in your own life as you're going through life, to start noticing these moments. Start noticing the times when you're feeling some kind of loss and grief that is not related to death. And it doesn't have to be immense pain that we are feeling. It doesn't have to be immense, like huge loss, or but anytime that we bring this kind of level of awareness, we can be with it. It's a part of ourselves that we are allowing to see, to express, to feel, and to integrate, so that in the moment that we start to reconstruct our life, or we are reconstructing part of our identity, perhaps, of our role in life and everything, we're coming from a place of awareness, a consciousness of knowing. I was present during that time. I was sitting with it. I was going through it, and this is how I can apply it now. How I can integrate it in my new path, or my new self, or on this new part of myself, or whatever it may be. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this can bring some shed some light onto your own processes of grief, and kind of bring a little bit more of awareness to your life and your own processes. And how's that going? If you would like to know more, feel free to follow me. I have an Instagram or on YouTube here, or Facebook. I also have a website. I can put it somewhere here. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer, and I would love to hear from you if you want to share anything as well. Maybe about your own process with grief, or end of loss, or shadow work. So yeah, I'll see you around.